And I think we're live. It says you aren't scheduled to start till 9:45, but you can start early. Thank you, StreamYard, for letting me start early. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are starting a little bit early in the morning. We're starting a little bit early, but I believe y'all can catch up. Just gonna give us time to let YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram know that we're here. We're in these social media streets and we are live. We're in these social media streets and we's live. Come on, come on, come on. Right? Um, it's Thursday morning, right? We're off to a grand start so far. Tesla gapped down. Let's see if it can go on back up and fill the gap that it created. That would be nice.
Switch to your
Um,
screen.
okay. There we go. Hey, Ward. Tesla has gapped down, as you can see here in the market. In the little chart here on the left, that's Tesla on the left, but it's trying to come on back up. Let's come on and fill this gap, Tesla. That'll be wonderful. Good morning, Tamar. How we doing? Yesterday I decided to enter some credit spreads, some more credit spreads, and I entered EMPH. Tomorrow I thought about you. I said EMPH. These premiums are quite nice, but I was like, ooh, let me see. I'm gonna need to make sure that Nvidia plays nice. I mean, EMPH in phase plays nice. I've got 103, 104, 104 on the put credit spread side and 111, 112 on the call credit spread side. That's what I've got for EMPH. And I took in about $50. So it is a one for one risk to reward. So I did in phase yesterday. I also did an MU. I did an MU iron condor yesterday. And these are coming off of came off of the Peakbot alerts list, the trend spread alerts from Peakbot. I get those alerts every week. I pay $5 a week, and the alerts basically tell you, which stock and whether it's bullish or bearish. And then they suggest strikes. They have a little wider spread than I usually go with, but they give you those all day long. So at any time that you're deciding, I want to take a check and look at something or look at me a credit spread. I like Wednesdays for that. Gives me a couple days to gives enough time to get good premiums, but not so much time that I gotta worry about it all week long. That second one was MU. I'm not sure why it didn't. I pushed go, but it doesn't seem to be going. And then I did NVDL, which I'm not sure if that one it was a good move at this point because Nvidia is kind of making a move. NVDL, I'm putting in here the strikes I went up with, so that way
What is
just in case.
NVDL?
It's the Nvidia lookalike. Granite shares Nvidia long daily. It's called.
Okay.
NVDL. 51, 52 PCS and 57. Take a look at it. 58.5. It showed up on the trend spread list because it's not something I would necessarily have selected. I didn't even know, like you, that it existed, but I got $50. I did all the ones I did on iron condors. I took in about $50. I'm not sure. None of these are populating in my comments. What is up with that? Let me hit test and see if there's something else that's causing a problem. Yeah, none of these are coming up. Are y'all seeing those comments? Are you all seeing those strikes, those spreads? I also did UPS. 130, 131 PCS. And Jamie, are you seeing the comments?
I see NVDL and test.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
don't
a
see any of that on
UPS
my screen.
130, 131.
Oh, none of that showing up on my screen. Okay, well. there's that. So yeah, that's what I did yesterday. Some credit spreads along with my triple Q and my IWM. I did some other credit spreads. So that's what's working in um over here in Pinkeltonville. That's what's working over here. Okay. Jamie, you can take over. Run it from here. Unless you want me to go ahead and go with Adam. I can go on straight to Adam. That way when you get started, you won't
Okay,
need
okay.
to I won't need to break in. Um Market's been open now about 16 minutes. About 16 minutes. This week has been about one level in SPX, 5690. It's this week's trap level. We put in a monster failed breakdown of it yesterday. Targets were 5704, which was hit, 5713, which was hit, 5727. We put in another at 7 a.m. No change as long as 5690 holds, 5714, 5724, 5730 are alive. If 5690 fails, then we sell to 5679 and 5662. The gap, according to my look before the market opened, was a 50 points between ES and SPX, and XSP numbers 573 on the call credit spread side, 566 on the put credit spread side. All right, that's what we see from Adam. Adam. Okay. Trade accordingly, right? For anybody who really likes the way Adam delivers the numbers, he tweets all day long, so you can follow his tweets for sure. Just make sure you make the conversion, or you can actually look at the ES chart at the same time as the SPX chart, and you can see what kind of moves are actually happening and make your determinations from there. Okay, you can look directly at the ES. So if he's talking ES numbers, then look at the ES, and you can see exactly what he's talking about. All right. Um, yeah, use accordingly. Of course, he has a newsletter that is loaded with information. It all depends on how deep you want to get into the ES world. But for people who trade futures, it's probably great for people who trade the futures. All right. Jamie, it's back to you.
For those who might be new, can you please walk them through that conversion? How to make that conversion, or what you do each morning for the conversion?
Well, what I do is I look at ES and then put SPX on the left. And I look at SPX or on the right, and I look at the ES. Okay, I do the ES, I do SPX. Alrighty. And I look to see the numbers 5744, 5692. So the difference between these two is about 50 points. If you take 5744 and subtract 5692, that should be about 50 points, right? So that's how I do that. I compare them both. I subtract the numbers, and then he gives ES numbers. We trade SPX. So once those two are converted, I make those changes inside the graphic.
And you do a particular what was it? A particular SPX, right?
If I do I do this I think it's the CBO, not CBOE. Is it CBOE? Yeah, CBOE. I do the CBOE. They literally should all be the same, but I do the CBOE one because sometimes I feel like there's a little bit of a difference, but I do CBOE.
Okie dokie.
Okay, Smokey.
Just to be on the safe side.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. So here's what we got going on as of right now. We have our Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 0.78%. S&P 500 is down 0.30%. NASDAQ is down 0.02%. And Russell 2K is down 0.60%. The VIX is up 6.30% to 20.09. Stocks fall as October struggles continue. Traders await Friday's job report, is what they're saying. For earnings on this morning, we got Constellation Brands and Angio Dynamics. All right. So that happened this morning. Nothing after close today. Apogee tomorrow morning before the open. I would imagine coming up for next week is when we're gonna start seeing within the next 2 weeks, I should say, is when we're gonna start seeing the earnings really getting ramped up for what we like to see in terms of more of the heavy hitters stepping in. For our Forex Factory calendar, here's we go. We got Thursday. So we got the job challenger cuts year over year. All right, that was reported at 7:30, yellow folder. There was no previous forecast on that. Unemployment claims was a red folder today. It looks like no major impact on the market for that red folder. At 8:30, 9:45, final services PMI orange folder. Nothing showed up yet. 10 o'clock a.m. We got the ISM services PMI. The factory orders month over month. The ISM services is a red folder. Factory orders month over month, yellow folder. FOMC member Schmidt speaks, and that is a yellow folder. 10:30, natural gas storage, yellow folder. And 10:40, FOMC member Bostic speaks, and that is again yellow folder. 10:40 a.m. So we still got a couple things that are going to be reported. But that is it in terms of what our Forex Factory has to say. We can check out investing.com and see what they have to say. You know, many times they have a few more details. So we got the job challenger cuts for September, which is neutral impact year over year. Job challenger cuts, neutral impact. Continuing jobless claims. This is neutral. It was 2 stars. Initial jobless claims is 3 stars, but is listed here where this was higher than projected for that 3 stars. Jobless claims 4-week average was neutral impact on for 1 star. And then the S&P Global Composite PMI, that was a little bit lower than projected. The forecast, that was 2 stars. The S&P Global Services PMI was a little bit less than projected as well. That was 3 stars there. And then you have your durables, excluding defense month over month for August, which is 1 star. That's coming up. The durables excluding transport month over month for August. The factory orders, which is 2 stars month over month for August. The factory orders excluding transportation month over month for August is 1 star. Over here, Fed Schmidt speaking is 1 star. The ISM non-manufacturing business activity for September is 1 star. 2 stars for the ISM non-manufacturing employment for September. And the ISM non-manufacturing new orders for September is 1 star. We got 3 stars for the ISM non-manufacturing PMI for September, as well as the ISM non-manufacturing prices for September. And then the natural gas storage, 1 star. FOMC member Bostic speaking is 2 stars over here. We got the 4-week and the 8-week bill auction. That's 11:30. That's 1 star. The unemployment, actually, the Fed's balance sheet is 4:30. All right, which will be up out of there anyway. And then the reserve balances with Federal Reserve banks is 1 star. So the Fed's balance sheet is 2 stars, and 1 star is the reserve balances with Federal Reserve Bank. We will be up out of the market, but as you know, something overnight can always impact what could be happening on the next day. So there's that happening. All right. So this is what went down so far with SPX. And this is on the 15-minute chart. And this is our first candle. that we are marking for those who are into the 15-minute breakout. So we are waiting to see what that's going to do. Of course, for the same time frame, sometimes Russell may or may not have broken out. In this case, Russell 2000 has broken out of its 15-minute. Actually, I can just move this one from over here. And there it is. All right, so this one has pushed out, has pushed past a weekly price point, and the buyers have definitely stepped in. So this should be a nice little bout that we're about to witness and see what happens. We're going to switch over and look at GLD for gold because we have a request in our chat box for GLD. So what I'm doing now is just putting in the prices that are some turning points that I see where price could turn around. Actually, it'll probably be right there on the 15-minute chart for RET. We're gonna look at gold. Whoops. Look at gold on. I'll start looking on the monthly first. I'm saying gold. It could be anything, but gold shares ETF. Okay. So they are on a tremendous run up right now. So in the chat box, I see the question: can Beyonce save Levi? I'll get to that in a second. So let me make sure I'm on the correct monthly one. 5-year month. Okay. So obviously gold is showing this run up right here on our monthly chart. So it is hitting the peak. So what that means, what I'm looking at right now is if it's that high up, that means it's going to be looking for an area for sellers above price is what that says to me. So without me even delving too far into it, I'll be looking for a put credit spread if I'm going to be trading this. And this is a nice buyer zone right here. At the very least, this is a nice leg out right here for a buyer zone. So 230, so 228, under 228 right there. I have not traded GLD in quite some time. All right, so I'll tell you what I'm seeing right now is that this was a cheer formation at some point. And I'm going to mark this with gray lines. Dash. Because it looks like not only was this a cheer formation, but it also, we can do, I guess originally, what would that have been? Somewhere in there. Looking for what it would have originally been when we first would have marked it. Probably would have been something like this. Ish. Then there's also a gap right here. Let me zoom this up so we can see it. Gold has a gap. All right. So we'll make sure we acknowledge that. Then I'll show you what caught my attention as soon as I pulled up the chart. Right. course, we have other activities happening right now. There is a gap below it as well. There's another gap right here. So you definitely have support, enough support in the area. So that's something to be aware of. Nice, strong support. And when I say support, I'm literally meaning the gaps are also providing support. Depending on how you want to trade this, since this is a candle that is currently forming, I don't count that as part of the formation right now because that candle is not complete, and I prefer to wait until this is complete to make that move. But you have multiple ways that you can look at this as currently constituted. All right. You can look at this as a zone on top of a zone because this would be leg in, base, leg out. So this would be a buyer zone right here. Leg in, base, leg out. It is sitting on a gap, right? It went through a chair formation right here. You can also then, this would be, depending on how you wanted to, let me just put the actual lines on here. So you got this high point, right? You could do this up here a couple different ways for your seller zone. You can do leg in, one in the base, leg out. This would be a revisit, right? And some people would probably do it this way. Still would be technically one visit, but leg in, two in the base, leg out, and then this could also be considered one visit. For the sake of keeping the risk down, I'm okay with having it this way, as long as that leg out is stronger. Okay, so you have current price being in a buyer zone. Ding, ding, ding. So that's what we got going. So these are two zones directly on top of each other. That's how I'm seeing that. Seller zone, leg in, base, leg out. Buyer zone, leg in, base, leg out. So for me, what I saw when I first came into the chart was this area looked like what I would call a neckline for, let's see if I have it. It looks like a pole. This looked like a pole running from south to north, and it looked like the sellers were pushing down, and that the buyers were holding serve here. So north to south, sellers are pushing down. It reminded me of this. Buyers are holding serve. That's what that reminded me of, which is a bullish wedge, which is a continuation, which could mean that it's going to go back up. But when the seller zone and the buyer zone are that close together, that's what I call a squeeze. It looks like it's squeezing. So there should be some type of reaction to that. So as of right now, it looks like gold is trying to decide what it wants to do, pushing down currently. So I'll be more inclined to look at a call credit spread. So let's take a peek at the options chain. I would imagine that there probably won't be too many premiums of might not be too much cash flow if it's this close together, but we'll see. I know that once things like the Middle East starts having things happening, gold in general may start showing some flashes of some signs of life, if you will. This is 78% out the money. 247, we are above price. What I'll be doing here is just it would be just making this a one spread because I kind of prefer one spread. So that would be 15 cents. Like 15 cents on $100 collateral. That's what I would do there. 247, 248, somewhere in there. That's what I would do for the call to be safe. Right now, I personally would not be messing around with the seller zone. I'm sorry, with the buyer zone. I always end up in trouble messing around with getting in front of a moving train, if you will. So I would not be as inclined to try to get into a put credit spread. That's just me. But if somebody was looking, 242, 241. So you can be looking at that area, right? And if you're wondering, well, I guess Lisa already put it in there. So, all right. I don't see any of the tickers. Swing back and look at and see what SPX is doing. So iron condor on that one is always possible. That's for October 4th expiration on GLD. Switch this to the 15 minute. Amen. Come on. So how you liking that new updated fiber optic? Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm liking it.
Yeah,
Have you noticed? Have you all noticed any difference the few times I've been on since we've had it? Have you noticed the difference?
I have.
Really, what's the difference? Like, what does it seem like?
Smoother,
Yeah.
much smoother.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like
So
it is. It doesn't feel like it like sticks. I can see it sometimes where I see it like stopping and grabbing. So I mean, I don't see that as much. So
yeah, once you got your upload speed higher, that
that's the
that'll
key.
show up. That doesn't solve all the issues. There's so much happening in between your house and everybody else's house in terms of routing, but um, yeah, it definitely it shows up as smoother on that end.
It solves a
Just
good bit of the issues from what the way he was describing, the way like the other people do it is basically a huge signal that's in the area and everybody's got grabbed from that signal. Even though
yep,
they tell you you're getting all this different, that's what's happening. But with the fiber optic, they're literally running something to your place directly from the port. Like they're going to the hub and you're getting yours straight as a straight shot. So your upload download speed is really more accurate than what you're being told by the people who are pulling it out the air. So I
yeah,
mean, I feel like it's going better. It feels smoother and faster.
yeah. I always look at fiber optic as more like what like business type speed is how I look at it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so for SPX, if you're doing a 15-minute breakout, it has broken out. Is on the run. Looks like a convict on the jailbreak. So we got a swing point that's coming up at 57.19, but this is on the 15-minute chart. This is a strong area that it just passed, so it is fighting to get past this 57.19 Price point, I'm not sure what just happened for it to take off like it did, but we'll be watching on that. But that would have been a good candle to watch. That's a good candle to watch. I know some people are doing the 30 minutes breakout as well as the 15. I know some people have apparently switched over, and so that's a nice strong candle.
I've heard people talk about the 30-minute being really a better gauge of that breakout. And on TradingView does have an indicator called the ORB, or the opening range breakout, and it provides the opening range for you, and it also gives you some support and resistance levels after that. So the it's called ORB. I've only heard about it. I haven't gone to look at it too closely, but I plan on doing that. But it's on TradingView, the opening range breakout indicator. Might be worth investigating for those who use that strategy.
I thought I saw it. I thought I saw it on Thinkorswim.
Okay. I think I've feel like I've seen one over there too. Um,
So some of the
under
stuff will be called something else
Yeah. Let
on
me
the
see
other
if I
one
can
too.
do it
So,
quick.
but I thought I
Error
saw it.
bands. I see open interest. Daily open. Maybe it's under strategies. Let me see if I put in the
You
word
can take a look
breakout.
at as well.
First hour breakout. That might not be a bad one.
That's what it's called on TradingView.
That's what it's called on Thinkorswim. First hour breakout. Hmm.
Okay.
Wonder what that does.
So yep, we
First
got a nice
hour
little
breakout.
push up on Russell and SPY. So on the
Yeah,
30-minute chart,
IWM
it
hit a
is
support and bounced too.
outstanding. Trade, you knocked me out. So Janae was saying that our significant other shot up today.
Yeah,
So
they
we're
got
gonna go check on
upgraded.
Nvidia.
Somebody upgraded Nvidia. I saw it in a tweet this morning that Nvidia, JP Morgan, um, says that the company is on track for a spectacular fiscal fourth quarter. So the analyst
Which
at
we've been
JP
saying that the
Morgan
whole time.
said that. Yeah, so it popped up after that this morning,
That
which
should literally not be a surprise to anybody.
popped up and ran through the top of my call credit spread is what it did.
You've been paying at least a teensy amount of attention to Nvidia. Now, I will say this: one thing to be aware of with Nvidia is that China is working on, trying to build a competitor to Nvidia, and I'm not saying that they're. I shouldn't even see China specifically, but we'll say Asia. Um, they're kind of trying to move away from, quote unquote, move away from Nvidia and build their own chips. So be aware of that happening as well. Also, the is it Hurricane Helene?
Hmm.
Um, so the hurricane caused some problems up in North Carolina
Yeah.
because I forgot the name of the city. I know the second word is pine on there, but in North Carolina, there's a smaller town that has they mine quartz, QUARTZ. They mine
Hmm.
quartz, and quartz is used in semiconductors as well. And so, because of the companies having to shut down, that could cause a problem as it relates to the semiconductors. So this particular company is called Spruce Pine. I'm sorry,
Hmm.
the city is called Spruce Pine, North Carolina. The companies, there's two main companies I believe that are there, and one is called Sabelco, and the other one I think is just called Quartz Corporation. And so, Yeah, they had to shut down ahead of Helene, and they're not sure when they're going to reopen.
Mm,
And so, yeah, if you know anything about the semiconductor industry, I mean, in July alone, it was probably over $50 billion in sales in just July. And so we got the AI chip stuff happening, and they produce 90%, 80 to 90%. Basically, they have the kind of stronghold on quartz that like Taiwan Semiconductor has with the amount of chips that they're making.
okay.
You know, meaning just the amount of volume that they're pumping out. Um, but as I said, and I've always said, there's so many people making money in the pipeline. Somebody's got to supply it, somebody's got to put it together. So there's always somebody at different points making money. But this Sabelco company had announced, I think it was like a $200 million investment to double its mining capacity there. And
Okay.
so, this caused it to shut down. So the last time they had to shut down was because of a fire
Hmm.
um, that had happened at one of the refineries. So that's going to be definitely something to look at. Obviously, you got the strike happening, so you got multiple things that are going on at the same time. So definitely keeping. Obviously, that is something that would directly affect Nvidia. So yeah, keep that in mind. But we did have a gap up this morning for Nvidia. So that is something, if you are trading Nvidia, to be on the watch for.
Okay.
All right. So
Mm-hmm.
that's all I got.
All righty. Do you have the closeout information or you good?
Nope. All you.
Mm-mm-mm. All righty. Now we start to land plane. I put out a video yesterday, and the video was about top options flow tools. I'm not sure if anybody knows anything about options flow. And it's basically where you can see in real time where is big money being spent on options contracts. So you can see, if somebody's, you open the market at 9:30 and you see a flood of Apple calls, then you can say Apple's, a bunch of people putting money in Apple. Maybe they know something we don't know, but where's big money putting their money, right? That's what options flow does. Well, as a beginner, I didn't know anything about options flow, but I found out about it and I did a comparison in this video of 4 different options flow resources, and I talk about what is my favorite at the end of the video. So if you haven't yet, you can go ahead and take a look for the video. I actually put the link in the comments earlier, but I think that it got bumped out when I got bumped out. I think those two things happened simultaneously. Okay, but go ahead and take a look at the video if that's something you're interested in. Options flow can be used for buyers or sellers. The whole point is that you want to know where is big money being spent, and you can trade along with that trend. So if somebody spent a bunch of money on calls, you can go with, of course, buying calls. You can do debit spreads, or you can do put credit spreads. Basically, whatever bullish movement that you are interested in, you can go ahead and hop on, right? Look at the chart and hop on. Don't just, hop on blindly. You want to hop on after you check a chart. Okay. Um, I'm trying to get the link to that video up, and while that's doing its thing, I'll keep on pushing. But go over there and take a look at the video. Okay. Tanya's asking, has Tamar gone back to EMPH? Tamar said she was done with EMPH. And as I was entering the trade, I was like, now you need to leave EMPH alone. But we'll see how my trade turns out this week. This is our list of trades for this week. We've got a whole bunch of put credit spreads. A few people in our community are in some of these. If you're in something on this list, go ahead and let me know. Let me know what you're in. But I didn't do a check. I used UPS yesterday. This was my guidelines for entering yesterday in my UPS trade. And Jamie talked about gold this morning, looks like. And triple Q 477 is the price above 477 on triple Q. The answer is yes, much above. So if you had triple Q, your trade would have been ready to close by now. And is SPY above? Where's SPY on here? SPY above 562? It is. So if you had SPY, you would have been ready to go. Ready to go right now. Yep, you would have been ready to go. So either way, that's what's going on with that. I put this list out every Saturday, Sunday. It's ready for the week, right? And then you enter these things as you see that they're ready, right? You don't always just run in on Monday morning, put everything on. You can, but you can also wait and make sure that you're going to get the best premiums when you enter. Okay. Tamara said, nope, not an EMPH for this week, next week, or the week after. Those premiums do be calling. The premiums for EMPH definitely call you up. I've been using this little trades list I have on the screen. I've been using this every day to write all my stuff down. And one thing that it helped me to realize, what did it think it helped me realize? That there's too much stuff on this piece of paper. That's what it helped me realize, that there's too much happening on here. That's what it helped me to see, is you doing the most. Don't. You're doing the most. You're doing the most. Okay. Anyway, you can go ahead and grab that. Educator to Trader membership is open. And receiving team members with the E2T crew is always open and welcoming to the new folks. We're doing seller strategies, credit spreads, covered calls, cash secure puts, mainly credit spreads. 0 DTE, 1 DTE for the weeklies. This is what we're using to make our money do what it do, right? That's what we're using to make our money do what it do, which includes this SPX playbook and the SPX 0 DTE trading. It includes that. And that's what we're doing. Alrighty. So SPXplaybook.net, you can get you a 0 DTE strategy to use every single day to pull in at least 10% profits. You actually can pull in even more, but you can pull in at least 10% profits off of there. Okay. 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 We talked about our 100% win rate last week, and now we are
Time
here.
out.
Okay, go ahead.
Forgot to answer the question about Levi.
Yes, go ahead.
So the question was whether or not we thought Beyonce could save Levi. So the short answer is going to be no. But let me explain why. I think that whenever you partner with a company, let's say, you got to be thinking about the long, like playing the long game. So I think that Beyonce can probably get them some sales, but unless she's planning on being with them, longer, for a longer term, it would be, let's say, a pop in sales over a certain time. But I always go back to, if you go to finance.yahoo.com, type in Levi's ticker, and you go to their holders and see who's holding Levi. Who are the big wigs, the big names that are holding Levi? That's who the decision makers are for what Levi is or is not, capable of going into the future. So, essentially, when a person joins up, let's say a celebrity, you can almost put them as the equivalent of a mascot, a spokesperson, somebody that's trying to sell it, but that has nothing to do with the actual
Mhm.
shareholders who are holding millions of shares. And so,
Mhm.
she could bring attention to, Levi, make it popular, or shall I say, make it cool again. I think that she definitely has the potential to do some serious cross promotion, right? If Beyonce is joining up with Levi's, then if she's got a signature pair of Levi's, how many pair can she sell if she's telling everybody to buy some and wear them to her concert? And Beyonce is basically affecting the gross domestic product of small countries when she has a concert. And that's a fact. I mean, when you look at how much she can generate in one business quarter full of her concerts, and she don't even got to do a whole bunch. I mean, you talking plenty of money. Her and Taylor Swift, but you talking plenty of money. So she can do videos on Levi. I mean, the sky's the limit on how she can cross promote that and make it cool. But in terms of like, if you look at the Levi chart and say, can Beyonce affect the people who are holding millions of shares? That's a totally different conversation. So I think she can make it cool. I think she, whether or not she can sustain it over a longer period of time, that is a totally different conversation. But in the short term, you know, popular, but whether or not she can save it, I don't know. That's I can't see that happening. Depending on what the situation is, what we're saying, quote unquote, save is. But bring in some more money, definitely. Thoughts on that, our listener?
I mean, I think I agree, and Tamar's making a good point here too. That unfortunately she doesn't do well with products and their longevity. Beyonce doesn't save her own products, i.e., Darion, her perfume Adidas collab. She can sell maybe 10 million, let's say 10 million pairs. Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. The stockholders are going to be the ones who are going to help to, there may be a recovery, and I don't know what's going on with like their leadership, but like remember Abercrombie and Fitch when they changed their leadership, um then things went. The Abercrombie and Fitch started running, so that may be at Nike, when they made a change to theirs, they've got to had some movement. They didn't do too well on this earnings, but that's probably because they hadn't changed leadership soon enough. But yeah, that.
She's got star power. I don't know, based on what I'm seeing in the chat box and what I have heard, when she comes out with something, it may not do as well. But I just know, when you start looking at who's holding, you talking Vanguard, you talking BlackRock, you talking, you know, you talking 2 million. Uh, Vanguard might even have the most at like 8 million shares. There's nothing Beyonce can do on her side that's going to affect that type of money, or shall I say, those type of number of shares. I guess you could say. So they'll be happy to have her because she gonna affect the bottom line positively. But I don't know what she can do about the shareholders.
Okay. Well. Tamar says she does well with music, but not products. Yeah, because Darion, is that still a brand? I mean, mm, it's not. I don't think. Not that it's recognizable or used. Okay, so the declaration, E2T Trader's Declaration. I declare I'm a great trader. I declare I'm a focused trader. I declare I'm a successful trader. I declare my wins exceed my losses. My accounts growing more and more each week. I'm a wise and knowledgeable trader. I always make smart and lucrative decisions for my portfolios. I declare I'm a level headed trader who does not trade my emotions. Lord, it's you who gives us the power to get wealth. You teach our hands to war and our fingers to fight. Help us today to trade wisely and strategically. Give us more than enough so we can have what we need and enough to be a blessing to others. In Jesus' name, amen. 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 Alrighty. So looks like the market is IWM is falling, which that's the small cap. Not sure what's going on with that. SPX and those guys made a nice little pop back through the gap that was formed, but then now it's still red on the day, even though it popped back up. SPX popped up to close its gap. It's still red on the day, and triple Q is green on the day. So that, triple Q is not at its all-time high. So there may be room there for some activities. Okay. I want you all to do two things, and that is to stay green and get this money. All right. Let's
Please
get us
get this
some
money.
green. Let's get us some green money today. All right. I'll see you all in the market.
Hasta
Goodbye, everyone.
luego.
Hasta. Hasta.